From Forex Traders Daily, this is your daily analysis with Ross Mullins, live from Richmond, Virginia.
Hello everyone, this is today's video analysis for February 6, 2017. I hope you had a great weekend and are ready to get started with trading this week. In today's video, I'm going to do a general overview of each of the U.S. currency pairs in anticipation of this week's trading, and I'm going to highlight some of the key levels that we will be looking for entry and exit opportunities. Now, looking over the news calendar today, with a few exceptions this week, much of the high-impact news events are centered around Canada, New Zealand, and Australia, and you'll want to make note of them on your financial calendars as you go throughout your week. And as always, be sure to use appropriate risk strategies in all trade setups. Let's go ahead and get started here on the dollar franc USD CHF. I'm on the daily time frame. The trend is still down. The black trend line clearly shows us the downtrend that we have been in since the beginning of the year. January 3rd was the top of the black trend line, the high up there. We also note that the Forex Black Book trend bar at the very bottom of the chart, the red bar is red, so that means that we have a bearish bias. So red bar, bearish bias, that's a momentum indicator. Black trend line showing us a downtrend. We're underneath the 100 period moving average. All of that gives us somewhat of a bearish bias here for this currency pair. We did get some good jobs news on Friday with NFP, but the earnings and unemployment rate was not exactly what we would like to have seen. So while we did get one shining star, everything else seemed to be a little bit negative for the US dollar. So we're going to continue to focus our energies on the direction of the trend until something really significantly changes here for this currency pair. So selling resistance will be the main focus here for this currency pair. Zoom in one time here on the daily time frame. We can see the blue shaded area here. That's 99.40 to 99.60. That is our current resistance area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days now have been holding underneath that blue zone. So clearly, what that means is if we're going to go short, if we're going to sell it, the blue zone's the place to do it. And guess what? We're there right now. So somewhere between 99.40, 99.60 is probably a good place. I've actually put a pending order there this morning around 99.50. That way, right there in the middle of the blue zone, if it touches there, it's going to take me into a short. I'll target the orange zone or lower if it takes me in. Of course, I know what the risk is. The risk is a break above the blue zone. Take it down to the 4-hour time frame. And again, you can see it settled out here into that blue shaded area. And again, what I am looking for today is for it to stay within or underneath that blue shaded area. The risk, and there's risk in every trade, but the risk here is that it breaks above 99.60 and starts to work its way back up here towards the pink zone. We saw a little bit of a false move here, turn back lower. So we definitely want to use appropriate risk strategies. Likely your stop loss would be above this spike high if you're going to go for the short today inside the blue shaded area. Again, my entry, my pending order is sitting at 99.50 right here in the middle of the blue shaded area for the dollar franc today. We don't have any significant news for the U.S. On the calendar for the day today. So for the most part, what we're going to be looking for is the market to continue doing what it's been doing, and that's following the downtrend for the dollar franc. Next thing I want to point out here on the dollar franc is we also have the red trend bar Forex Black Book, and we have a bearish signal here, the yellow arrow that sits right here above the blue candle. So selling rallies to resistance still is the main focus here for the dollar franc. Moving on over to the euro dollar, it is the opposite. Of course, if we're selling the franc, typically we would look for a buy on the euro, but today we see the euro taking a pretty decent fall back down. We do at 9 a.m. Eastern U.S. time today have the ECB president speaking. That may have some impact on this currency pair as well, but it is falling off resistance. And by the way, the pink zone has been resistance for the past several days. Let's go ahead and zoom it in here because it's important for us to take a look at the 100 period moving average as another barrier of resistance right around the 107.90, 1.0800 level. So today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days finding resistance underneath that moving average under the pink zone. All in all, really what I'm trying to say about this currency pair is I don't think you want to go long as long as it's underneath that 100 period moving average. That just doesn't seem like a good idea for the past 5 days, going long underneath the moving average. If you're going to go long, if you're going to look for the return of the upside for the euro, look for it to dip into support. It could be the 1.0700 level, the blue shaded area. Again, we do have ECB president speaking at 9 a.m., so that could have an impact on this pair. But the trend is up. Forex Black Book is green. I just think the problem here is that we're running into that 100 period moving average. 4-hour time frame doesn't really change it a lot as we get down here, but it does tell us that we're running close now to the support here at 1.0720. Look back here on the left. You see a lot of support right around the top of that blue shaded area. That's what we're going to be looking for today. The risk, of course, in any buy or long scenario here for the euro dollar is that it breaks down through that support, through the blue zone, and goes lower. So if you're looking for an opportunity to go long, this blue shaded area might be it. But again, that 100 period moving average on the daily giving us a tough time in going higher on the euro dollar. Moving over here to the GBP. USD, we have seen a little bit of an indication of reversal here over the past few days. Of course, we were in an uptrend, the red trend line. Forex Black Book still green because I don't think we've had a significant enough indication of reversal to change that over to red. But red trend bar, or sorry, the red trend line shows us an uptrend. The green trend bar shows us an upside bias. But we've been toying around again with that 100 period moving average. Let's zip it in here, zoom it in a little bit, and look at that moving average right there in the pink zone. We've been above it. We're now below it. Take a look at that green zone. That's interesting. We can see historical resistance and support around the green zone. That's 1.25. 05, 1.2530 is the green shaded area. Black circle back here on the left shows us resistance prior to this time frame. So very interesting there. I would say for the day today, as long as it's underneath that green shaded area and underneath a 125 level, this is a difficult place to go long. I don't think you want to go long today. Right now, in fact, with that big red candle underneath the moving average, we're through the red trend line underneath what was support at the green zone, now acting as resistance. I think if you're doing anything, it might be looking better for an intraday short back down to the yellow shaded area into the low 124s. Take it down to the 4-hour time frame. It's not really going to change our mind about it. We're sitting under that green zone. We've seen it as resistance here, resistance back here on the left. So again, I just don't think going long under that green zone is a good idea. If it settles out underneath it again, that might become an opportunity to go intraday short. The risk, of course, would be the break back above 25.30 for the pound dollar today. Moving over to the USD CAD, again, as I mentioned at the top of this video, we have news out of Canada this week as we go even as far out into Friday. So you want to make note of that as you go into any trades on the Canadian pairs. But we're currently sitting underneath resistance. That's the pink zone, 1.30, 35, 1.30, 60 is the pink shaded area. Look back here where the black circles are. They show us several times finding support right around that pink shaded area. Again, even over here on the far right hand side, we've seen support into that pink shaded area. Zoom in one time here on the daily. And again, I'm just talking about that support here acting as our current intraday resistance. So we don't really want to go long right now, I think. Past 1, 2, 3, 4 days have found resistance under that pink zone. So going long right now, a little bit tricky because we're sitting underneath what is currently resistance. Forex Black Book is red. That gives us a bearish bias. The trend has been down. I think we need some further evidence of a reversal if we're going to go long. And again, watching the news all week long out of Canada could give us a clue. Coming up, I guess the more or the soonest that we get news out of Canada is Tuesday, tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. we get trade balance out of Canada. So that'll be the first thing we want to watch, and of course employment data coming up on Friday. But definitely difficult to go long underneath this pink shaded area. However, intraday shorts may be a possibility with your risk just above the pink shaded area. 4-hour time frame, just to give us a little zoomed in view. Take a look at all the resistance there into the pink shaded area. So again, what that tells me is I just don't want to buy right now. It's just a difficult place to buy it. If anything, I might have an opportunity to go short here, looking for the blue zone as our potential target. Now, if it does get through the pink zone, which isn't out of the question, if it does get through the pink zone, of course, your next resistance is not too far away. It's right here at the yellow shaded area, and really, it's a simple repetition of this pattern right here. Let me put this trend line here and go with the black color here so you can really see it right there where the black trend line is. You see a little bit of a rise as it came along here, settled out at the yellow zone, hit the blue zone, and then the new low. So we've settled out under the pink zone. Maybe it hits the yellow zone. So watching for that as a possibility here for the dollar CAD over the next few days. But keep in mind some news coming out this week for Canada. Take it on over to the US yen. Again, downtrend, blue trend line, red trend bar. We have an overall bearish bias, except we're having a little bit difficult difficult time around the 11200 level up here at the top of the chart, just underneath the black box. Let's zoom it in a couple of times here. Take a look at this. We've had a really difficult time staying underneath this purple shaded area last week. It spiked down 3 times and couldn't stay underneath the 112.55 or so level. Today, probably the first time really significantly we could stay underneath that 112.55 level. So definitely watching that. I don't think you want to go long right now underneath what was support, now acting as resistance. Going long underneath here in an opposite direction of the trend really would be a difficult scenario. I think if anything, another challenge of 112.55.80, the purple shaded area today, may give you an intraday opportunity to go short again and look for it to continue to go lower. 4-hour time frame, again, the trend is down. There's no real I think question about that at the current moment. We are sitting underneath that purple zone. Difficult place on top of 112 to go short, though. I mean, obviously we've seen a lot of support into 112, so I don't think you want to go short on top of the green zone. If you're going to go short, you want it to be back at the purple zone. Possible intraday longs into the green zone, but remember, you're trading against a trend at that point, and you need to be using appropriate risk strategies if you decide to do that for the dollar yen early this week. Take it on over to the AUD. Australian US dollar, of course, as I mentioned, we have news out of Australia, even coming up later this evening, 10:30 p.m. Eastern US time. Interest rate news, rate statement coming up out of Australia. Definitely want to watch that if you're trading any Australian pair at that time of day. Black circles show us resistance at the blue and the green shaded area over the last several months, even going back all the way back into February and March of last year. So almost a year ago, we've been finding resistance into this blue shaded area and the upper 7600. So a difficult place to go long, isn't it? For the past year, you wouldn't have wanted to go long into the blue and the green shaded area. Even though the trend is up, that's a difficult place to go long. Take it into, on the daily time frame, zoom it in a little bit here like this. I'm actually going to pull this trend line over a little bit like this. I think if you're going to go long, it makes more sense to do it down here at the purple shaded area. Of course, gives you lower risk and higher potential reward. Your potential profit is being capped, of course, underneath the blue and the green shader, at least the blue zone right now, 1, 2, 3 days holding as resistance. Watching for resistance and potential reversal, and keeping an eye on the news out of Australia at 10:30 p.m. with that interest rate news later today. Probably a good idea if you're going to trade this. If you're looking for shorts, intraday shorts before that news coming up at 10:30 p.m. Eastern U.S. time, 76.70, 76.95, the blue shaded area would probably be your best opportunity to go short. 4-hour time frame, again, remember the Forex Black Book trend bar is green. The blue trend line shows us an uptrend bias. So again, a little bit difficult to go short against the trend, but definitely if you're going to do it, allow it to get as close as possible to the blue shaded area. There is a little bit of a support right here, and I'm going to go ahead and put a black line right about right here. You can see right around 76.45 or so. You can see that last time we touched here and found support. So if you're looking to go short, it obviously will need to get through 76.45 before it can even make it back down here towards the purple shaded area. If you're looking to go long, again, I think coming back down here to the purple zone would be a much better idea for that on the Australian dollar. Moving over to the NZD-USD, again, last week we had a couple of really successful short opportunities because we were into the convergence of the trend lines where they came together, the blue and red ones specifically. Resistance there, some Fibonacci there, historical resistance into the pink shaded area, the mid 7300s, a couple of successful short opportunities. Trend is up, black trend line, green trend bar, trend is up, so we were trading against the trend, but definitely a significant area here. We do, again, have significant news as we go through the week out of New Zealand, so you want to pay attention to that if you're trading this pair. Let's zoom in a little bit more like this, and you can see what's been happening between the pink and the orange shaded area, some consolidation here. If we get some positive news out of New Zealand this week, or even negative news for that matter out of the U.S., we would look for the potential breakout above 73.30, 73.50 and the pink shaded area. But for the time being, that has been a difficult barrier for the New Zealand dollar. Orange shaded area, obviously right now, 7300, 72.80 is your current area of support. That is also bolstered by the black trend line there, showing us that we're seeing support into that orange shaded area. If it can break through there, and if the market pushes through 72 72.80 or so. Maybe we look for some further retracement back down here to this green shaded area into the 72.40, 72.20 level. But again, lots of news coming out here for the New Zealand dollar this week. 4-hour time frame, take a look at this. If you're looking to go short, obviously, like we discussed last week, the pink shaded area is the best place to go short. Obviously, you can see that right here. If you're looking to go long, watching this orange zone, watch for support, watch for evidence of reversal to go back up towards the pink zone. Any positive news for New Zealand sends this higher. Negative news likely breaking down through support and continue to pressure lower for the New Zealand dollar this week.
From Forex Traders Daily, this has been your daily analysis with Ross Mullins. If you would like to get Ross's analysis on all the currency pairs he's watching and all the trades he takes today, join him in his live trade room by clicking on the link below. Please leave any comments you have about today's video in the comments section below.